What's going on YouTube? So check this out. We pulled this in and started putting a turbo on, and honestly I just was not going to have the time to film everything, so I figured I'd get about halfway through this mess and maybe answer some questions in my experience of what I've dealt with on this. I pieced this kit together with separate pieces. I didn't just go and buy everything. I initially I had two different setups I was working with. I started out with this GT3582 with this ram horn, thinking, I'm going to just pull the AC out of here and do this. And then I thought, well, I really like the idea of keeping AC and power steering because I didn't know if power steering was going to be in the way. And so I bought this 57 trim T3 T4 turbo and this cast D16 exhaust manifold, and then I bought a downpipe that was basically this. I had to cut it, but it was basically this downpipe, and it's nice enough if you wanted to tie in the rest of your exhaust, but it was made to shoot out down here and up under. So here's what happened. I go to put this turbo on, and I thought this turbo would be small enough to run with the AC, because like I said, I was going to start with the GT35. Now, I have not done the pistons and rods. I'm going to do that at a later date, probably in about a month or so. I wanted to get this in. I was sick and tired of looking at all this crap on my bench. I wanted to get the turbo kit in, and I said, hey, it's not going to be that much of a big deal to pull all that off when I want to do the remotor anyways. And it'll give me some time to play with this stuff. So here's the deal. So I tried to put this on, and the intake was facing this way. And I was like, wow, I was really bumping the block, and I had read a bunch of places that you got to knock out some of this. So I started working on that with the angle grinder. And I got a good chunk out, and I put it down in there. I said, man, it's going to have to go way further than that. And I said, I'm not comfortable going any further than that. Had this been a smaller trim turbo, I don't know, maybe like a T25 or T28, I would have done that. But it was at that point I was like, look, I'd rather keep the integrity of the block than the comforts of AC. So AC came right out. The only thing left, I got the dryer can out. I obviously took off the condenser, all the piping that ran across here. I did leave these two pipes in here going into the firewall under there. So here's some of the things I ran into otherwise. This Wastegates, which these eBay Emusa Wastegates I hear are pretty good. I pulled the spring that was out of there, and I put the little center helper spring and the weakest spring on there, so I should be at a very low boost wastegate. The problem is it hits this part of the hood with this nipple on it. You can actually see right there where the nipple was hitting right there. I could shut the hood, but it lays on top of this, so either at the very least bang that in and give it a nice little dent in there, or just chop that little bit out. I don't really want to butcher the hood, so hence the reason that I'm going to explain my exhaust in a minute. I didn't do that for my exhaust. Okay, so moving on up, the CX Racing Intercooler Kit was for this car. I bought that separately. I think it's 180 some bucks. It came with this blow-off valve, this little fake Gretty looking thing. I got that all mounted up, and it fit okay. It's a little wonky right about there. It doesn't sit right. I got that intercooler mounted up like this. If you can see those tabs, it ain't going nowhere. That thing is on there tough. Wrapped it all around, punched a hole through there. The only pipe I did have to cut on the intercooler was this pipe coming up to the turbo right here. And on a side note, I looked on a couple of YouTube videos. I was like, hey, how do you rebead the pipe there? And because I know some people that don't do that, your couplings will pop off. And I happened to look around, and I had the perfect tool. And I want to share this with you guys because I only saw like one other guy that kind of had it. And here's a pipe right here. Okay, here's the tool. I've got such a mess going on right now. It's crazy. All right, so this is the pipe I had to cut off, and let me give you an example of how well this wire crimper right here works. I don't remember exact. Oh, you know, I think I got this from Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight for, you know, a few bucks, or maybe it was Amazon. But if you look at the style right there, you see that this little notch in here, right there, that makes for a perfect bead setup. Let me just go ahead and show you real quick here. If I could do this one-handed. Oh my God! All right, one hand. Anyway, so there goes the bead. Here's some other ones I did on there already, and if you compare that with the factory one, or when it came like that, so the one I did right there, it actually works really well. If you feel the ridge of it here and feel the ridge of this, they feel almost identical. This was just a little closer to the edge, which that's fine. So if you want to do your own bead rolling right there, you can just get this tool. It works perfect on this, and I went all the way around it just like I did in here. Now, that's the only modification I had to do on the intercooler piping. I probably might clean this up, shorten that up, and do that too. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I get around to doing that or not. The exhaust. So again, this exhaust was meant to come out over on this side and swoop up under. This is curved like this, down and go up under. Well, obviously when I had to flip it around, it wasn't the case. So I didn't have a welder here. I borrowed a buddy of mine's flux core welder here. Not the best one in the world, and I am not what you'd call a welder by any means, but I cut this off here and I reclocked it this way, so you see it's pointing down. Initially it was pointing like right here against the it was going to shoot right against the intercooler here, so it's going to shoot right down there. Let's see if I can give you an angle. So I got that all set up, and then I put the bung right there. It's not quite 6 inches there, but this is just my O2. I still got to run my wideband from the back under there where I got to run the wideband. I got to run oil feed, oil drain, and whoop, so goes that. I got to rip the rest of the exhaust out. I'm just going to run this like this. Like I said, I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that. I got to run all the vacuum lines. I got to run this boost gauge because I went and picked this up for 13 bucks on eBay, because I made the mistake when I bought my gauges, which was one of the first things I bought when I got this car, with some gauges, because race car and all. But I got an AM wideband I put in there, and I bought this boost gauge right here, but there's no vacuum on it. And from some of the videos I see where people are doing tuning, you want to see what where your vacuum is at for doing manual tuning. So yeah, let's see what else I got here. So yeah, wire up the AM wideband, put this boost gauge in there, wire that in, tee it off. I think I'm gonna just run my T's right off between here, the fuel pressure regulator and the intake manifold here. Now, as far as fuel system, I do have an absolute stock fuel system, which some might say it's a no-no, but I don't plan on running more than 4 to 6 pounds, and it will be on a tuned ECU. I have a P28, which I did have in here for a while. I was trying to self-tune it on Chrome, and I have EC Tune, but I can't get the EC Tune to work right. It won't do live tuning. The Chrome does, but the EC Tune does not, which really sucks, because I'd rather use EC Tune for this. EC Tune, I don't know. But as far as fuel system, I can go ahead and throw in this 340 liter per hour fuel pump right here. This kit, I could throw that in here probably this weekend sometime. I doubt I'm going to be exceeding even the factory fuel pump. Another O2 for a different project here. Some springs, gaskets. I'm not running any gaskets, by the way. None. Not running no gaskets from here to here, here to here, here to here. None. Just screw it. Saw too many people having issues with them. But you know what? I got the metal ones. I'll probably throw them in there. Not gonna lie, I'll throw the metal gaskets in there. I'm just not throwing this junk in there. Yeah, I'm missing some stuff here. Okay. So there you go. I can't think of anything else right now I could tell you that you might need to know or that I might be missing. But in the meantime, I will definitely do an update video when I start to tune it. And I do the startup and all that. We'll get you guys on another video here and share my experience with it. All right, thanks.